Hi, my name is Marie, and during the course of my SURI, I worked on my project Fancy or Faux, the relationship between novels and etiquette books in Victorian England. During this, I really looked at, again, the relationship between these novels and the etiquette books. Etiquette is what informed how people behaved, and novels showed socially how people behaved. So I wanted to see how they informed each other. To do this, I was really interested in who the target audience was, how etiquette was viewed, and how this all revealed societal beliefs and practices of the time. To do this, I compared Victorian novels to Victorian etiquette books. Specifically, I looked at Lady Audley's Secret, Jane Eyre, and The Woman in White as my novels, and The Habits of Good Society, The Woman of England, and The English Gentlewoman as my etiquette books. I then also used secondary scholarship. For example, I really heavily relied on Paternoster's book on etiquette to fill in some of the gaps between history of these books, how they evolved, and also just some etiquette that wasn't necessarily shown in the three books I read. As a result, I found a few things. Etiquette books were more and more popularly written by women. So were these novels. More and more women were outwardly writing these novels. Sometimes it was still a pen name, sometimes it wasn't. The biggest finding I found was that class and gender was very much seen as unstable. A lot of times if someone was overly adhering to etiquette standards, they were seen as too performative. Maybe they were a lower class person trying to take over. This was a huge fear of the upper class of the time. Etiquette standards were constantly changing, and this was to keep out the lower class. But there was also this interesting notion that the middle class was getting more strong, they were getting bigger, and they were the writers and readers of novels, and they were the readers of etiquette books. But if they overly performed, these characters were immoral. If they still held true to who they were, for example, Jane Eyre, she is a middle class character who is a hero in her book. She conforms to etiquette to a certain extent, but she is still very much middle class. She still holds morals. So she's not too performative, so she's a hero. Overall, during this time period, society was changing a lot, and this can be shown through etiquette books and these novels. Thank you for listening to my presentation.